Oh, we got that. We got that for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, we're doing this.
We are doing
This is the thing.
This is the pilot.
This is the pilot.
The pilot. The best podcast that's ever gonna live.
Okay. Your roommate literally makes podcasts.
Literally.
Yeah.
I literally showed him a video and he was like, "You're a podcaster now."
You're a podcaster now. Ever since we were on that episode,
Yeah.
It's
official.
It's official.
We're official. We're professionals.
I think I'll name drop after.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not after. We'll get into
little
it.
Shout out too. Yeah.
Little shout out. But hey, this is the pilot.
Posture check.
Yeah, posture check. We'll have to make that a bit. That's a bit now. Posture check. All right, nice. You have to hold it for at least 5 seconds.
We should hold it the whole entire time.
We should hold it the whole entire time, but we're not going to because we're human. You know, maybe we'll upgrade one day and get nice chairs with backs on them.
That's when we get funding.
Yeah,
and sponsors.
but we have drum stools right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leading into kind of what the podcast is going to be about.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, this is crazy because this is kind of something that I never saw myself doing. But we are going to touch on kind of the world realm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say ministry oriented, but kind of ministry oriented.
Yeah.
Musicianship, production's a big one for me.
Yeah. Kind of behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, yes, that's good. What else did we talk about? Kind of just
even a lot of stuff that goes on in
because
kind of church aspect.
Yeah, because so you worked at a church.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at a church. I wasn't full time, but I was like part-time contracted.
Both of our parents were in ministry staff.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
so
so we got all the tea. No, I'm
it.
just kidding. No bad stuff, honestly. But yeah, so like we'll touch on that, and there's like also like a ton of crazy stuff going on in the world. So we can touch on stuff like that.
Whatever leads into whatever.
Whatever leads into whatever. We're just gonna kind of talk and have a good time and bring people along for the ride. I don't think this is gonna go out on Spotify just yet, so I think it'll only be on YouTube.
Okay.
First couple episodes.
Yeah.
Then we'll get the reins.
I mean, once we go viral, then
wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Once we go viral. But yeah. So I am a drummer.
What's your name?
Christian. I'm Christian.
And I'm Blake.
That's Blake. Co-host. Co-host. One of many.
One of many.
Or like two, maybe. I've only talked to like one other person to do it.
You don't need like 50.
No. But yeah. So I play drums. I've been a touring drummer. I have been a church drummer my whole life. I make content, just trying to explore my creative prowess, and to see what could be in store for me.
Yep.
Because you never know. It kind of always follows that, like, all right, you're a drummer, then I feel like every drummer who's like on social media that like has traction does this. Like, all right, well, they're a drummer. Now they're recording themselves, and now they're like mixing their own audio, and posting it on YouTube, and then like they're getting better, and then they get into the pool of creatives and like what it is to be a creative, learning like all that stuff. So that's like where I am, learning all of that stuff.
I mean, I was low-key surprised at how much followers you had on Instagram.
Yeah, I was too.
Like literally, like I mean,
all my stuff sounds like, but it sounds so bad.
Looking back on it, it's just
so initially I started it just to track my progress, like as a drummer and as like low key like a mix engineer. If like I guess that's like kind of what I'm working towards now.
Yeah.
Because I've done front of house engineering for a couple like 2 years now. And like I worked for a production company, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of like caught traction, and
dude,
it was popping off. I stopped for a really long time. It was just a hard posture thing.
Content creating is like you have to do.
No,
it all the time.
And it was like I was like, all right, like what am I really doing this for? Because I didn't want to do it for such a worldly aspect.
Yeah.
And then not have any like spiritual growth from it.
Is it getting me?
I think it is. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it's not. Check your thing.
1, 2. Okay.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
Hello?
We'll see. Hello?
I mean, it's getting a little bit. You might.
Yeah, there you are. You're there.
Okay.
Yeah. technical stuff. Make sure you talk.
Talking to
Yeah. There
we
you go.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, look at you now. See?
Oh, look at me now.
Look
It's
at you
just
now.
me.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be a pro podcaster. I don't even know how to.
You're not
mic.
even. You're not. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. There's a plug-in for that. But yeah, so kind of like learning, like, all right, like what is it to separate like my spirituality from like Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and kind of see how like how it's changed me, because like obviously that was like a time in my life where I was on the grind. You know, I was pumping out 4 or 5 videos a week.
Yeah.
You know, which is almost a video every day. Which if you don't make content, that is a lot.
Yeah.
Like sitting down, having a day job first of all,
The day job.
and then sitting down
Mm-hmm.
and like mixing audio, trying to mix audio for what I was doing, trying to mix audio.
Amateur audio kind of.
Yeah, amateur, very amateur.
Mm-hmm.
I think like one of my most viewed videos is like literally the worst sounding thing you'll ever hear.
But
like,
people like that raw.
I
They
don't
like
know.
I think they do, man.
Well, there's so much distortion. It just sounds so bad. And then
Yeah.
boom, over 100,000 views. And I'm like, all right, well it sounds bad now. Now when I look back on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's
Because
just,
I think it's just a lot of people, they love, especially nowadays, people love the authenticity, and like some more raw stuff is like, that's what I think is noticed, that like people more gravitate towards that kind of stuff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, what I've learned is it doesn't have to sound good to get traction.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there are going to be people who, because this has happened to me, there's people who are in the comments like critiquing, and I'm like, bro, like
they have 25 years plus experience.
yeah,
and
and
like,
I'm
okay,
like, all right, I don't care.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school for this. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't like try to learn any of that.
And you were
so.
like, what, like
was probably
19,
like-
18, 17 years old when you're
when I started,
off.
when I was popping off. No, I think I was like 20.
20? Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, so compared to everybody else, that's still pretty young.
yeah, it's pretty young, but yeah, let's kind of jump into like what you're, because you were like you're
So, yeah.
a lighting video guy.
Yeah, so I started out working, obviously, I started working in maintenance and all that. And then I kind of got promoted into being a production assistant for the kids area, kind of over kids. So I would make
Yeah.
videos, I would do the audio, I would do lights, I program lights. Anybody who program lights, you know that's a whole thing in and of itself.
Yeah, I will never be a lighting guy.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, like there'd be moments where I really, really enjoyed it, and then there'd be moments where I really, really did not. And so it was just kind of one of those things, like there'd be seasons where I really enjoyed it, and then the other seasons where it's just like you're just going through the motions and you're kind of just doing whatever looks good, bare minimum kind of thing.
Yeah.
But doing that, and then I kind of went more to doing video because I started really getting into video.
Yeah.
Pictures, a little bit more video wise stuff, and then kind of just growing up in the church, seeing all
Yep.
that kind of stuff, and
Yep.
just being there.
And you did that for how long did you do that? You did it for a couple years.
I would say probably like 2 years. I was a production assistant, and then maybe like in total, as far as production goes, probably like 5-6 years.
True.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because but you're still like, you've always like, when our friends have had projects, you've always like
Yeah.
hopped on the project.
Yeah.
And you're always like been wanting to get into it.
I love supporting people, so I love being able to help them do whatever. But like also like I would say I'm pretty good in some aspect. I'm pretty creative, and so I would try to help them be creative and kind of, what's the word, like
pull it out of them.
Yeah,
like support them, pull it out of them.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing in itself, you know, like when you're working with people and they're like trying to cast a vision and you're not really like,
it's like if
you're not really on the same wavelength.
If a writer is having a writer block, I want to be able to help them move that block.
True.
And so that they like, I might not be able to write something, but if I can help them move that block, then I feel like I'm doing my job.
Yeah. And now we have a podcast. it was literally birthed out of well, I've kind of been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, like and like being on my roommate's podcast kind of was like I felt like that was a big, like, this is like something we could do. It's like
it would and like it's something that like you kind of just have to do.
Yeah,
you know. But that's a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't do it, you're never gonna know.
Yeah,
like the outcome of it.
Honestly,
yeah. Let's get into something. Hold on. So let's pause. I want to make sure the phone is still recording.
Okay.
Because that is important.
I need to make sure I'm still talking into the mic.
And oh, that's so good. Let's get into something. All right, so let's get into a topic. So what would you say was the most frustrating, like, what is the most frustrating, like, creative, like, rut you run into? Like, it can be like with other people, or and like, how did you resolve that with yourself?
Honestly, it's like I feel like coming up with ideas of like what to do and like what to produce, and or like kind of like you've done it for a while, you've been in the groove of stuff, you feel like you're kind of like at the height of what you're doing, but then it's like you're doing it for a while, and then you're kind of just like doing it over and over again. You're like, well, I kind of feel like I'm doing what I've been doing over and over, and it's like getting stale, I would say. And you're like, what can I do to like, I'm not coming up with any new ideas, any stuff
Sure.
like that. And so one thing that I would like know is like, honestly, you just kind of power through it, honestly, kind of thing, where like, even if you don't have any ideas, like you have an idea of an idea, and you're like, just start doing that.
Yeah.
Just start going for that, and then getting through that, and honestly, just powering through it. And because it's like it's one of those things, like one small idea can turn into a bigger idea, can lead to 3 more ideas.
Yeah.
And so it's just not letting yourself be complacent and just do nothing because you don't know what to do. Even if you don't know what to do, just do something.
Yeah.
Even if
just,
it's bad.
Just do something. Just make something.
Yeah.
What's something that you've like wanted to make like for a really long time that you just haven't yet?
A movie.
A movie. Oh no. A
I don't-
movie.
like-
what would your movie be about?
Dude, low
Give
key,
me an outline.
honestly, one thing I feel like, as much hate as Christian movies get,
Oh come on.
Dude,
no.
I
I'm
like-
so against. No.
I
okay.
know, but I'm like, there's so much like good stuff in the Bible, like
You're
there's
right.
like crazy stories. I'm
Yeah.
like, people just like, they just are lazy.
Oh, you mean about the Bible?
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
Bible,
yeah,
like
yeah,
a Bible,
yeah.
like a story about the Bible. Like take a story from the Bible, try and like you don't like not exaggerate it a lot, but like just enough
Oh,
because
like the Noah movie.
yeah.
Was it? Well, that was crazy because they showed like the angels
Dude,
coming down as
yeah.
like beasts.
Dude,
And
they just go so far.
I could literally slander that movie all day. I think I saw it like once,
yeah, and
and it was literally the
I'm like,
worst
there's so much
misrepresentation.
in the Bible, I'm like, you don't literally need to exaggerate anything. I feel like so
Yeah.
many movies are trying to do too much,
Yeah.
and like if you just tell a good story, which there's so many good stories in the
Mhm,
Bible,
Yeah.
and if you just follow that and like do good production, you have most of the writing already done for you.
Pretty
just
much, yeah. You'd have to like put it onto like.
yeah. Like
how mu-
obviously, like kind
What
of.
was that one movie that was about Job? It was the modern depiction of Job.
Oh, I don't.
It literally just came out.
Actually, I don't think I've heard of that.
Here, look it up. It just came out. It came out not too long ago. It was actually really good. Just look up modern Job movie.
Modern.
Yeah, it was posture check. Oh. Yeah, get that.
Modern Job movie.
Let me see. The Shift. Yes.
The Shift. Okay.
That was actually a good movie. They did well. They did well. I actually really enjoyed it because I
I meant to see that one, but I never saw
so
it.
I
Okay.
watched that movie and then
Okay.
I went and read Job and I felt like really bad about myself. I was like, man, he had it so hard.
Dude, yeah.
That guy had it so hard, and here I am complaining about having to go to work.
Yeah, literally having to go to a work that's pretty easy.
yeah. But
Compared-
so movies like that
Yeah.
was actually really good.
and I love the actor in it. Like he's
Yeah.
one. He was actually
Yeah. What's his
blackballed.
name?
Oh, I literally just had it. He was actually blackballed from Hollywood just because of he held a stance in.
Oh, what's his name? That's the older guy, right?
Yeah. Neil McDonough.
Yeah. So he
Don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how
so
to say his name.
he said like he wouldn't
have any sex scenes or anything like that.
he wouldn't be cast in a role where he would kiss another
Yeah.
woman or something
because of his wife.
because
And
of
I'm
his
like,
wife.
yeah,
Respect
for real,
Respect,
dog.
yeah, that's
But he plays such good villains, dude. He's
I mean,
such
he
a
played
good,
the devil.
yeah, literally, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, he played the devil. It was good. It was
Yeah.
really good. I like that movie. Yeah,
And Paul loves the Book of Job.
really. He could he could probably go on about
Oh yeah.
multiple. So so you'd like to make a Bible movie?
Yeah, but like kind of like I don't want to say modernize it, but like make it like with good production kind of thing.
Mhm.
Kind of make it focus on like videography and the cinematography of it,
Yeah.
rather than obviously the story. But
Yeah.
like if you have the plot that's good,
Yeah.
storytelling's good, and make it very beautiful and very cinematic, then I feel like people would love it
Yeah.
because people just try to.
Yeah, I feel like it's just hard to get. It's definitely hard to get a studio behind the idea of making a Bible movie because
Yeah.
it kind of tanked
Dude,
whenever they made
nearly
Noah,
like, and
you know?
even the Christian studios, like man,
Oh
like
man, don't.
they're just
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I really did not enjoy the God's Not Dead movies.
dude.
Only because
They're literally only made for Christians.
they're only made for Christians.
and it's
Yeah.
like one thing that's like when you realize that they're like, oh, they're actually kind of like.
But aren't they making a new one? Aren't they making?
Probably,
I
I think so. I think
God's Not Dead 5. I think.
I think they're making another one,
Nah,
and it's
whatever.
just like, dude, like, because once you realize they're actually made just for Christians, you're like, no atheist really acts like that.
Not
It's like-
hating. We love
No,
their
yeah, yeah.
ministry, but
I mean, they're doing something, but it's
they're
just
doing
like,
something. They're reaching somebody. You know,
Yeah.
the reality is somebody's gonna go and watch that movie, and the seed is gonna be planted,
yeah,
and that's all that matters.
there's always
Yeah, that's all that matters. I
but
think there is
the one I really did like was War Room. I just because
War
like
Room- I never saw that movie.
I did because it did put an emphasis on the power of prayer,
Mhm.
and I think that was really important.
Oh, yeah,
So I did like that.
yeah.
And my parents just saw the one that that old lady in War Room. She was in another movie about that just came out, The Forge.
I haven't
and
even heard of that.
It literally it came out in theaters, but I heard so many good things about it, so I kind of want to see it.
Your parents
Um,
went and saw a movie?
Yeah,
That's
right?
crazy.
dude. In 2024,
In 2024, I would never believe that. For anybody watching,
Obviously,
Blake's
good money.
parents are amazing.
Yeah.
But they are, what's the word? You have to say this in a way that if your dad saw this, he would not be mad at you.
they're boomers, to say.
Okay.
They are boomers.
Yeah.
and they're very southern. At least my mom is.
Your
So-
mom is very sad.
very southern.
Yes. She's very set in her ways.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Same with my dad. But
Yeah.
they're great. I love
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. So going back to like,
What would you want to make? What's
What
something?
would-
I
what
know.
would I
I know
wanna
you have
make?
like a. Don't you have like a? You're making music, right?
so I have so I have a project. I'm not going to release too much about it.
Yeah, you gotta
You
tease it out.
Gotta
a little
tease
bit.
it a little bit. It's just so hard to write.
Yeah,
It is like insanely hard to write. Like I give so much credit now to
dude, writing a script is one of the hard,
Yeah.
especially a comedy script. Man,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how to do it.
yeah.
That's
Well,
one of
even like music. Like you get so you get an idea and like for a melody in your head, and then you're like, all right, let me put some lyrics to this, and you're like, man, this is buns. Like it is just not good. And then you're like, all right, well, let me record it. And then you record it, and then you're like, wow, this is even worse.
really
Listening back to this. Yeah,
Dang.
I've probably scratched like 5 sessions.
Dang.
Yeah.
But hey,
'Cause-
you're doing it. You're doing something.
Yeah, I
that's
know,
how
I know.
I know. That's one thing about writers. Like you just write.
yeah, writing is just it's just really hard, you know.
Mhm.
If you want to get better as a drummer or a musician, just start writing music cuz it'll challenge you in a lot of ways
For
that
sure.
just does like it'll just make you a better drummer.
Yeah.
It'll make you a better guitar
And
player. It'll make
anything-
you a better piano player.
Anything that challenges you too is it stretches
Creatively.
you
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
bunch of areas.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Are you still going to cover your feet with that?
Dude,
or-
yeah, my feet are cold.
What do you mean they're cold? That's a towel. Here, there's a blanket right there. Are you sure?
I'm good.
It's a blanket. Like I've used that on my
My feet
body.
are actually getting warmer now.
okay.
So we're
well,
good.
that's kind of weird.
Dude,
Maybe
yeah.
we'll cut that out.
Nah,
No.
it's a pilot.
All right. So he gave me his permission. All right. So let's.
They're not in
let's
the
see.
shot, so it's not anything premium.
Okay. You're right. You're right. Hopefully they're not. You know. We
Dude.
don't know that.
In this economy. But yeah, you want to tell about a little about how long you've been drumming?
I have been playing drums since I was taking lessons. I started when I was 9
Mm-hmm.
or 10. So about 12 years,
Yeah.
11, 12 years. But it all started, I think I was like 2. And, when my mom and dad went to work, they dropped me off at my grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
And they would set me up with some pots and pans on the floor.
Little wee lad.
Chopsticks.
Little. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And just banging away.
That's
all day.
Yeah, that's how it
And
gets
I've
started.
I've grown up doing that, even taking drum lessons.
Yeah.
I have made multiple teachers very angry. I have. I'm so serious. I made multiple teachers like they're like stop. Like it drives them nuts.
Yeah. Do you usually play like? I know that's a big thing of like playing loud. Like, do you lean more
like
towards
dynamically?
Yeah. Do you lean more
so-
towards playing loud or?
It definitely gets to that point.
Mhm.
I mean, when you're playing dynamically, it kind of,
Mhm.
you want to start here and then kind of get up to here. So that's like when you're playing loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just something you like learn over time.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, like I'm saying, like my uncle gave me drum lessons, so
Yeah.
he was the one who
Mhm.
taught me. My worship pastor,
Well, he's mine too. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yep.
He's so talented.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of because he like when like Sunday afternoons we go
Mhm.
over to my grandparents for lunch,
Mhm.
and he was still living at home at the time. This was really really long time ago, and I would just play on the drum set there,
Yeah.
Yeah, be like, hey, can I go play on the drum set?
Hello.
Can I go play on the drum set? Little old me, and then just hear me banging away in there.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah,
Dude.
yeah. So that's kind
So
of
we never got to the part of like, what is a project that you haven't made yet
That I would want
that
to?
you really want to, like your dream project. If you could do anything, what is something?
I'd want to like produce an album.
Produce an album
Yeah.
for anybody special, or just like your own album?
Mix engineer for an album, because
Okay.
I don't feel like I'm that good of a producer to do that. I don't want to like
Not yet.
not
I mean,
yet,
You could be a producer.
a mix. I don't know, like just for like a church, like locally.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's just like it's such like a niche ministry,
Yeah.
that not a lot of like churches tap into, and I
Honestly,
wish
yeah.
more churches would.
Dude, yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, churches take care of your production people,
Yeah.
because if you don't have your production people, you don't got church.
That's the whole thing.
It is a whole thing. We can make a whole episode about
Dude,
that.
yeah, I think that's one of the ideas we came up with is
Yeah, we'll save that.
Yeah,
We'll save that
A
one.
little
We'll save that one.
we have ideas cooking.
We have ideas cooking. Yeah. But yeah, any let's see. I think we have any bad production experience. Well, not production. Let's say this: any bad and or cringy church / working production experiences.
Dude, it's one of my most favorite things that we've done, and the most cringiest things we've ever done was probably like make a TV series of basically stories of the Bible and modernizes it. So like kind of like a little taste of how like I was saying making a movie, but
Making
like
a movie, yeah.
on like a short like it was a whole like 2-3 month process of making like, because we did 12 episodes 20 minutes each, which
Wow, that's like
yeah, it was a whole
like,
thing.
That's like an anime series, right there.
Honestly.
that's like a full wow.
Yeah,
crazy.
and bloopers too. Because
Bloopers too.
Back in the day we were huge on bloopers.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
even if they
everybody
were-
wanted to put a B-roll blooper
Yeah.
at the end of their
Yeah.
videos. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, but it was definitely one thing that like looking back on it, it's so cringy.
Oh snap! I just straightened that junk out.
That was a little scary.
I just wanted a little armrest, I just
Not around here, man.
here. Let's see.
No
All right,
resting.
it's stable. It's stable now. You're good. You're good.
But
Maybe
yeah.
I'll cut that out.
Ah.
Ah.
But just doing something, even if it's bad, like looking back on it, it was so bad. Like it's
What
so
was
cringy.
one thing that you remember specifically that you were just like, "This is so bad. Like, why are we doing this?"
The writing, dog. Like I said, like the writing, like granted the writing was like the person who wrote for what it was, it was good.
Mhm.
But it's just that like it's an amateur writing though. Like it was someone who doesn't write.
Yeah.
It was
What was like the cringiest? Like,
and like
what was the cringiest part that you had to act out? Like, what was the one thing that you were like, I hate myself for doing this. Like, why am I doing this? Like, I would never want to watch this again.
honestly, like
There's one thing I know. You know what? We're not name dropping either, so it's fine.
it was just one scene. It's just like with these.
Mhm. They're never gonna see this, so it doesn't matter.
It was just this one scene. It was just like love them to death, but like they're not good actors,
Mm.
and it's just like it's church people, so it's like, and
Like they
It's
think,
wi- you're with-
they're really good.
you're with people that aren't into videography or movies or anything like you are. So it's like there's a sense of like improv that like kind of comes with like the knowledge of like being in that space of videography, cinematography, all that kind of stuff. So like you can kind of improv a little bit.
Sure.
No matter what, you keep rolling. You
Yep.
just roll with
keep
it.
rolling. Keep
And
rolling.
like, and it's just like we had literally a perfect take of something that happened, and it was an improv,
Mhm.
and then they just couldn't continue it because they just started laughing. It's like, dude,
do I know who they is?
Yes.
Wait, is it? I'm not gonna name drop. I swear.
More than likely, it's who you're thinking of.
Siblings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All
But,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That. I remember. Let's see. So
Because there was a part. I think you were in
so
like
there was two different series that y'all
you,
did.
You kidnapped me.
I did.
That was what it was
I
from. You
yeah.
kidnapped me. That's
Okay,
what it
so
was.
I remember that, and then I remember we filmed a lot of stuff at Polytech.
Oh,
You
yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
We did a lot of that
Oh,
because it
yeah.
was right there by
Mhm.
where we lived.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, looking back on it, it was so like that's one of those things like looking back on it, it's so cringy, so bad, but we did something.
We did something,
and you grew from it, and you're like,
no,
you
and
look,
it was fun.
it,
like
it was
it
so
wasn't
much fun.
like
Yeah.
it wasn't like I look back on that. I'm like, oh man, I regret doing that.
No,
it was
it's
it
not
was fun
that
because
way.
like
Yeah.
I would come home. I think I was still in high school.
Yeah. You
So
were.
I'd come
Yeah.
home from like school and like that was the thing.
Yeah.
That, like
or a weekend, kind of like, hey,
or a
Christian, we need to.
weekend,
We're
yeah.
filming this. We need
Yep.
to.
Yeah,
that
I
you're in the
remember one
scene.
time we were doing a scene, and I don't know if you were filming it. You might have been filming it, and I was being chased down by somebody, and the person that was chasing me down, like the scene was I was going to be handcuffed,
Yeah.
and so we were going to simulate.
For those who haven't seen them, they're like, "What is this?"
Yeah, I know.
series?
So I was being like arrested,
Mhm.
and so we were simulating like me being slammed to the ground.
Oh yeah.
But we were
yeah.
we're going to film it in reverse because we're just that funny and cool. We thought we knew what we were doing. And then
Yeah.
you were like, action. And I just like full force, like push up myself up
Mm-hmm.
right into this guy's nuts. And then he was on the ground for like
Dude.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
I felt so bad.
Dude, it was.
But that was so much fun.
It was. See, that's one of those things. We didn't know exactly. We knew we wanted to do a TV series, or like we had an idea of doing a TV series, so we did it. Like,
Yep.
and like looking back on it, you see how much you grow, and you see like, oh, obviously that was so bad, and you know why it was so bad because you can tell what you've grown from and where you were.
Well, even like behind the scenes stuff on all of that, like doing something like that, or just like doing like
A video that
a
you made,
video
or a
something.
song that you've written,
like
or anything like.
the work that you put in, it's very self
Like
gratifying.
your Instagram, like if you scroll all the way down to the first videos you've ever posted,
oh man,
you're
they
like,
were so bad.
yeah.
But
Or if you've seen any videos of like you drumming in middle school, it's like you see like you
you see the progress.
you critique
you see the
yourself.
progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's like something really cool about that. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's why it's like so important to just
Yeah.
put stuff out there. Just do
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I mean, even if you do bad or if you mess up,
Yeah.
or like, you know,
Dude, and like in 100 episodes from now, we're going to look back on this this
and it's
episode
gonna be like,
and we're
wow,
like,
this was so bad. We're filming on my phone that has no storage.
that's yeah.
There you go.
You're like, what were we doing?
Well, what are we doing?
Suck. And then
But we
we're-
just did it.
Yeah,
That's
and
all that
then
matters.
once we're in the studios and like have this whole production value and like have 4 different cameras, like
Oh,
we're like
that'd
we'll
be
look
so much
back
fun.
on it like
Do you think we'll ever get to that point? We have to stay with it. That's the thing.
yeah, it's
'Cause if we
a
don't stay with
consistency
it,
thing.
it's a consistency thing. If
It
we don't
is.
stick with it, it'll never go anywhere.
Yeah, that's a big thing in any content creation, any music thing, any production thing, any church thing. It's literally consistency.
Is key.
Your walk with the Lord. It's
Consistency is key.
Literally.
Yes, that is.
It
that's,
just brings it all back to that.
It will. Yeah. That's
yeah.
I think what else do we have on here?
Let's see.
Like a messing up, like what's been one of your biggest mess ups? Like, did you forget to put something in
Dude,
something? Like
one of the
like Pro Presenter, you forget a slide,
dude,
or
one of the biggest things. Your mom can attest to this.
oh no,
Because she was my boss.
that's right, that's right.
Yeah. This is kind of one of the reasons why, like, I stopped working the church was because like it started to blend together of work and church, and that's one thing that like you have to be careful of,
of
is
course,
blending the work and church. So it got to a point where I was so scared to go to church because I would forget to put, because I would have that fear of forgetting to put something in the
you're
computer.
like Saturday night, you're like,
Yeah.
and your eyes like
Sunday
get wide.
morning, you're like, you get the text like, "Hey, where's this?" And you're like,
Oh no!
and you have to, and you're like, "I made it. It's in the computer still. I just have to get a USB and
Oh
run."
man!
And so it's just like one of the, it's just those things.
Was
like
that before they were throwing everything on a server?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, a lot of it too is like I made it personally on my computer, like in the office building, and
you
so
couldn't.
and
Okay.
is
yeah.
like I didn't export it to the server, and so like I exported to a USB that I had in my room
and
in
then
the
so
office.
you could just walk it over.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so it's like one of those things, stuff like that. It was just like there'd be so like, and this was like towards the end of my career, like working at the church. Is like
Yeah.
I was getting exhausted, I was getting burnt out, and so
Mhm.
like
It happens.
yeah,
It
and
happens.
there was times like I would just forget to put stuff in, and I get that text that Sunday morning. You're like, "Hey, where is this video? Like, where's this video for the
you're like,
offering or the countdown for this?" And you're like,
Mm.
and they're like, "Oh, where's this light sequence?" And it's like, oh, like,
Well,
and
and you
just,
weren't really training anybody to run that stuff.
No,
either.
I was the only one, and so like it's like
So like when you program lights, you weren't training the volunteer who was running the lights.
No, yeah.
It was just like, here's the bank,
yeah, here is this,
Here's the cues.
click this,
Yep.
and you're good to go.
Yep.
And so it's just like that was another thing is like, not that I had a bunch of workload. It's just like it was very repetitive workload, and that was one thing for me is like something that I'm just doing over and over and over and over and over and
Mhm.
over every single
Yeah.
day. It got very repetitive and very draining, so it was hard to feel like I was doing something meaningful.
Yeah.
And so it was just one of those things like I was getting burnt out.
Yep.
And it was just,
There were multiple
Dude, it
times where you just
and so that was to put it on a more serious note. It was like they were like I almost didn't want to go to church because I was so scared of like,
dang.
and that's when I got to a point where I was like, okay, I probably need to separate my work life and my church life.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I didn't want to feel like I didn't want to go to church kind
Yeah,
of thing. So
You're right. Yeah. That's
But yeah.
crazy. Yeah. I think I have one story. It's like a horror story pretty much. This is one thing that you never want to happen to you as a drummer.
yeah.
I was, and like, I think I was in like 7th grade or 8th grade. So I've been playing drums for like a year in youth.
Mhm.
And I remember, so this was before like click tracks and like sequences and guides.
Uh-huh.
But really before like Ableton was a thing.
Yeah.
And so the drummer
Mhm.
so we had a chart with a songbook
Dude,
with
I remember that song.
with with the chart of the PCO chart of the song in it,
Uh-huh.
and we would just click the song off.
Really?
I know.
Dang.
Isn't that
was
crazy?
back in like this is Stone Age, man.
It is
What
Stone
that?
Age. Yeah, what are we doing now?
compared to now?
Which is crazy because the same like rack and PA is still in that room that we were using.
Yeah.
Now we're
yeah.
just using tracks. But
Dude, some churches going to see this and like, that's what we do.
yeah,
Like,
our PA is like 35 years old, 40 years old. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I remember, so it was a song that started with just percussion, like drums only.
Yeah.
But we had a drum pad, like an old Roland like D8 or whatever, and so I would play the beat on the pad.
Mhm.
Well, I played the beat insanely fast. It was supposed to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I did
Uh-huh.
like duh, 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 and then the worship leader just like tried to keep up, and then she turned around and looked at me, and I kind of just like. Like when it's like, like the record player, you can hear it like scratch and like slow down, like, yeah, that's what it felt like. And she turned around and looked at me, and I like stopped. And then she was like, she turned around, she goes in the mic, she's like, all right, let's try that again.
That's screwed.
Full band
Oh.
stops. All the vocalists turn around, look at me. And that was when we were scheduling like 12 vocalists for
Dude.
like, and we only had 3 instruments. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Some of these people play instruments. Why aren't they playing in the back line?
That's crazy.
Anyways.
Dude, put them
Put them on.
all of it.
I know.
All
And so I remember the look she gave me, and I was like, I'm dead. I'm never playing drums again. Like I'm never.
I'm
gonna play
fired.
drums ever again.
I'm
I'm
gonna
fired.
have to change
I don't even work.
churches.
I'm fired. And she's like, let's try that again. click the song, like perfect.
Yeah.
For the rest of the night. That was probably the most crushing.
Dude.
But hey, we learned.
Yeah.
Everybody has a record scratch moment.
Dude, for sure.
Everybody.
So kind of going into is like, how many hours do you think you've put in behind the scenes of like, I know
that is a huge question.
Dude, yeah. Of like,
okay, so
not only just practicing, but like just as
So-
far as production wise.
so production wise, so I didn't really start getting into production until the last. So I think this last year or 2 years, I've been actually contracted for some kind of production, like sound production. But if we're gonna go like even before that, like just doing like building the sessions for like building the Ableton sessions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I interned with Steven for a summer. And so like I think I would say 3 days out of the week,
Yeah.
I was at the church all day interning. So that's like 9 to 5.
Yeah. And then
9 to 4.
if it was a Wednesday, you were there for that Wednesday night
And
service.
the Wednesdays I was there from 9 to 9.
Yeah.
Okay. And then coming out of
I
that,
remember those days. Yeah.
I kind of took it up. So at that point I was building all the sessions, running tracks for youth. And then past that, so like doing that, I dropped it a little bit, and then I started running tracks and building all the PCO plans. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, I
building
remember
the
that,
planning center plans, sending them out, building a team.
building a team,
Crazy
content creation.
Yep, doing content on top of that. Literally another like full-time job.
Honestly, yeah.
Being paid pretty mediocre, but
Yeah.
it's ministry. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our payment is up in heaven.
Yes, the Lord is good. Let's move. Okay, so the next thing we have written down is some church games.
Church games, yeah.
Church games that you ever see anybody throw up?
Oh, I've seen and cleaned. Seen and cleaned many throw ups in our time, especially with the games that I don't know how many other churches do this, but we had a youth pastor that one of his favorite things was to put stuff in a blender.
Oh man.
And we had
these
themes.
guys, what is it with the middle-aged men and
Dude.
blenders? You know?
We had themes of like Thanksgiving.
Oh, and you
Or
would do like
every-
stuffing.
'cause,
The
there was
stuffing would kill me.
The one that's the one I volunteered in was a Thanksgiving one.
No, bro. Mm-mm.
I
No.
remember that there was stuffing, turkey, ham,
That's
cranberry
disgusting.
sauce,
That's so
gravy.
gross. No, bro, get me out.
Get
me out.
everything that is like associated with Thanksgiving. Shove that into a blender, blend it up, and have 4 kids see who can chuck it the fastest.
No.
Then there was other times where it was like birthday.
Yeah. Or McDonald's. I remember
Fast
McDonald's
food.
and Taco Bell. I remember
McDonald's, Taco Bell. That was
every time one kid always threw
dude.
up.
The other one I did was it
I
was
can remember playing that game right now.
the one that was probably the worst. That like thinking back on it is like this is disgusting, but like that you're like, oh, it's not that bad, but like it's a sweet one. So it was like a bunch of different candy bars and sodas.
Man, you would think that's not that bad.
You're like, but there's so much sugar and so much it's as soon as it touches your lips, you're like, it's just too much sweet. But yeah, there was just so much of that, and then just back in the day, whenever there was less rules of what you had to do with how, I guess you could say, protective.
You could get away with a lot more stuff.
There wasn't as many waivers as you had to sign.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned, I do remember a lock-in where a kid like broke, not what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
But I remember.
I
remember playing a game and a kid broke his like wrist or something.
Yeah, I think
during a game.
Do you remember if it was an inside or outside game?
It was inside.
Inside?
Yeah, it was inside.
Dude, those lock-ins were so much fun.
Yeah, I just
Spending
remember
all
like passing
night.
out on a couch and like the lounge or something.
I think I remember because I was there in that lock-in with you,
I know.
and because I fell asleep on the floor next to you.
Yeah.
Because there was a Madden tournament going on close to the time we fell asleep.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, dude, just and like it was like we got maybe 1 or 2 hours of sleep
Yeah.
because like it's a lock-in, man. You gotta stay up all night.
Yeah.
And
That's
dude,
crazy.
those are so much fun times.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then dude, I know this is kind of random. Speaking of random, in multiple different ways,
Yeah.
but
okay.
there's this new app. Apparently, it's not new, but it's coming into it's coming back apparently. But it's called Random Nautica, and like
Random Nautica.
Random Nautica, something like that.
Okay.
Basically, but it's like an app that takes you to a random spot, just like you put in a radius, and it takes you to a random point that is random.
Okay.
But like apparently it has this algorithm that like it a whole like this is a probability thing of like most people only travel through like kind of like how you go to work. There's only a certain amount of places you would think to go, like your brain would think to go, probability wise. And the whole job of the app is to make you go somewhere where even if you think you're doing something random, because of the probability of you going to that place is still within of you, like not random. It's so weird. It's so
like
weird.
within the app, it's
Yeah.
not random.
Within it will be random to you.
So is it like geocaching?
I guess you could say kind of like that, but
that's
more.
kind of like the vibe that you're
Yeah,
explaining.
I think that's it. That it is like kind of off that, but it's kind of from the stories I've heard, it's a lot more like I don't want to say sinister, but it's a lot more.
Okay,
There's a lot more.
Like explain.
Well, because like there was this I saw the whole thing that came up was a thing on the YouTube and like not YouTube but TikTok where these teens they put in travel and they're like.
So like you
can put in like a theme of what you want to get out of your experience.
Okay, so like say I load the app up on my phone and there's like a search bar, or is it like a topic bar, or
I think it's like a topic bar because I haven't got it yet.
Okay.
On the fence as to if I want to do it.
I don't think you should. This is what it's starting to sound like.
But it's
and so you're like, all right,
I want to experience sports, or travel, or cat, or whatever you want to, anything.
I'm tracking.
And then so these teens put
and you set
travel
your radius.
Yeah, and set your radius to how far you're willing to travel.
Okay.
And then it took them to a beach where they found a suitcase, and in the suitcase there was 2 unalived bodies.
Unalive. Hey, that's good for the censorship. That's great. Now this can go on TikTok.
Right? 2 unalived bodies.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah. And it
was completely algorithm based, like it wasn't.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be random. So like why did it randomly take them to this place where travel, here's a suitcase with how do I know the suitcase was there?
Wow.
So it's just like that, and then same thing with freaking what you call it? That I keep on forgetting. Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Where like I mean, people were with the maps thing. People were getting kidnapped because
they could kidnap.
Yeah, they could track your location or whatever through the maps.
Yeah,
and all
imagine
that.
looking for a Pikachu and then you just you just get snatched.
Pikachu.
Okay. Wow, that was
little dad joke in there.
All right. Yeah. Neither one of us are dads. So
Not yet.
Not yet.
But
wow.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end the podcast right there.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You want to
little
name drop?
Name drop. So the pod name is the Mix Pod.
The Mix Podcast.
The Mix
Podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. And a fellow podcast that we mentioned here on the earlier was his name is Paul. He has his own podcast.
Tipsy Theology.
Tipsy Theology.
Love that guy.
Well, if you want to get a little bit more theological.
Yep. We were theological.
Geological.
Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah. Theological there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
if anybody has what?
Any
comment,
comment, subscribe,
That's
hit
a
the
good one.
notification bell.
Okay, yeah, wow, you're getting all the.
Oh yeah, you gotta get all the
If
things.
anybody has a question, I'm sure this will hit.
Yeah, any
Instagram.
comments or anything you want us to talk about, anything like that, and then also any stories that you want us to have of anything
Yep,
that happened to
yep,
you in
you
your
want us-
church
yep.
or
Yep,
something that resonated
get it
you.
all.
Yeah,
we'll get it all. All right,
Yeah.
well, the Mix Podcast.
the Mix Pod.
All right, explosion. I'll put a little. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.